What is up, my friends? The Reds are in the final. You can book your trip to Wembley if you're lucky enough to get a ticket. But we are there and we will be taking on Chelsea after tonight's 1-1 draw away against Fulham. 3-2 victory on aggregate. It's another Wembley final. It's another trip for Jurgen Klopp. And it could be potentially the first trophy lift for Liverpool's captain Virgil van Dijk, if indeed we can get past Pochettino's Chelsea. So we're here for the player ratings, and what we're going to do, as we always do, is go through the players, the substitutes, and the manager, giving them a score out of 10. As always, asking your good selves to let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you agree with my scores? Do you disagree? And whatever your thoughts are on the game, we would love to know. Most importantly though, as you can see from the top corner, we're closing in on 250,000. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. And if you enjoy the video, well, drop a like if you'd be so kind. So look, let's start off with the goalkeeper. And today it is Caoimhín Kelleher. And I think, look, there's nothing he could have done about the goal. The one moment in the game that had me a little bit nervous was the one where he came for the cross, didn't get there, and that could have ended up in Fulham scoring a goal. But that aside, I think Caoimhín Kelleher did okay, so I've given him a score of 7 out of 10. Moving on now to Conor Bradley, and again, a lot of people will look at the Fulham goal and think that he was skinned or that he could have done better. I have a slightly different viewpoint on it. You know, you try running really quickly in one direction, trying to catch up with somebody, and for them to turn in the opposite direction when they want, and then try and turn quickly. So I have every sympathy for him. I think it was another good performance from him. And look, you're going to have times where your fullbacks are beaten. It's football. But I think this lad has come on leaps and bounds and will once again show us that the academy is producing some very good footballers. So on Conor Bradley, I've gone for a score of 7 out of 10. Let me know below if you agree or if you disagree. Now we move on to Mr. Jarell Quansah. What can you say about this young man? That ball that he played to Lucho, if anybody else played it, we'd be in awe. If Trent done it or Virgil done it, we'd be talking about it. So let's make sure we talk about it for Jarell Quansah. It was a magnificent ball. Diaz still had a lot to do, and he did it. But that ball from Quansah was top notch. And again, another great product coming through the academy. So today, Jarell gets a score of 8 out of 10. Pretty much near perfect performance from him. Moving on to our captain, Virgil van Dijk. I think after Diaz today, he was probably the second man of the match, if you want to say that. I thought he led the line really well. Led the defensive line really well. Was absolutely top-notch aerially, and nothing was getting past them. And on top of that, we started off in the first minute or two with a bit of an iffy Fulham corner where Joe Gomez was being asked to mark two men and Palhinha pulled away, and I started to wonder, it's going to be one of those nights. Is it going to be one of those frustrating evenings? But no, we settled into the game, and under Virgil's leadership, I think we're fairly comfortable, in all honesty, apart from the last few minutes where you expect it to be a bit hectic if you're only one goal ahead. So we're giving Virgil van Dijk a score today of 9 out of 10, and I think, and I hope you agree, very much deserved. Moving on now to Joe Gomez, who, I don't care what anybody says, he knew tonight was the night. He knew today was probably his last opportunity on the left side to get that goal, and he was taking aim and he was taking some shots, and I'm alright about that because he's been brilliant. He's been brilliant filling in at left back since Robbo and Costas have been out, and I've said this a few times this season. I don't know if he'll ever nail down a starting place regularly in centre back position, but he is a lifesaver to have around when you need cover. You know, his versatility is phenomenal. And for that and his performance tonight, of course, we give Joe a score of 8 out of 10. Into midfield, I don't like that we took McAllister off. I want to say that because I think, again, he's grown into that role well. It remains to be seen if Endo or him continues in the role when Endo comes back from the Asia Cup. But tonight, again, I thought McAllister was really good. Now, maybe because it was a few tasty challenges on him, so maybe Klopp was looking to protect him a bit, but I think we did look a little bit weaker in the centre when he went off. So for Mr. McAllister today, he gets a score of 8 out of 10. Now we move on to Harvey Elliot, and I thought he was really good in parts. Some good some good hook-up play with Diogo Jota when he came on in and around the edge of the box. And Elliot, while never really setting the world alight, he's just very smooth, very easy to watch. And of course, it would have been tough for him tonight because he was getting those pantomime boos every time he was touching the ball. And I'll never understand that because he left to go to his childhood club, the team that he supported all his life. So I don't know, I think he could have maybe gotten a little bit better treatment by the Fulham fans, but ultimately it doesn't matter. The only thing I would say negative today from Mr. Elliot was a couple of shots that were tame and probably shouldn't have been taken on. But other than that, I thought he did okay, so giving him a score of 7 out of 10. Mr. Gravenberch, I didn't think he played brilliantly today, albeit I still love watching him with the ball in close quarters. There was one part in the first half that really stood out to me. He received the ball and he had that look over his shoulder. And then as he was looking and receiving it, beautiful body motion to the right, create a bit of space and protect the ball and get away and start another counter. But I want a little bit more from him because we can see what he's capable of. And I feel like he's got a couple of gears left to go through. So giving him a score of 6 today. I know it probably seems a bit on the low side, but I do feel if we were to have a poor performance out there today, I would say he was probably one of them. Although I might be being a bit harsh. Let me know if I am. Mr. Cody Gakpo, I would say, also didn't really set the world on fire today. And I wouldn't say that he's made a difficult decision for Klopp, whether he starts or Jota. I mean, it's got to be Jota at this point because we looked a lot brighter when Diogo came on. So again, like Joe Gomez, I'm struggling to figure out where Cody Gakpo nails down an every week position. He can certainly be great as cover and to rotate in, but I still, after all this time now watching him so far, don't know if he's best off the left, if he's best as a centre forward, if he's best in the hole behind. I don't know, but I know I like having him around the squad, but he just needs to add a little bit more, I think, on occasion. So I've given him a score today, like his teammate Mr. Ryan Gravenberch, a score of 6 out of 10. Lucho, well look, he's the man of the match. Let's just get that straight off the bat. We asked for end product. We asked for a bit more from Lucho, and we got it. My favourite thing about the goal tonight was the chest control, because he had no right to do it. It was ridiculous. The leap that he had to get above the defender, to control it at such close quarters. And look, the shot wasn't great, but it did enough to get past Leno. I thought he was exceptionally good. Just such a bright spark, so full of energy and running. And looked like he's back to himself. And with that, and I don't do this very often, I'm giving him a score of 10 out of 10. I thought he was sublime tonight. Mr. Darwin Núñez, again, much like I said about McAllister, I don't know why Klopp took him off, because we clearly encouraged Fulham when he went off. I'm not knocking the players that came on, but when Darwin's on the pitch, you know he's going to occupy a few people. You know he's always going to have give you the option to play the ball over the top and for him to fight for it or hold it up. And I feel like when he went off, we were lacking a little bit of a threat on the counter, so maybe gave Fulham a bit of encouragement. But maybe Klopp's doing it to rest them ahead of busy period coming up with the games against Chelsea and Arsenal. But I felt like we were worse when he wasn't on the pitch. So with that in mind, got to give him a score of 8 out of 10. Good performance from him. Mr. Curtis Jones. I'll be honest, when he came on, I forgot he was on, because I don't think he did too much when he came on. Didn't do anything wrong either, don't get me wrong. But I don't feel like he stamped his authority on the game. Maybe I'm being harsh, because it is difficult to come into a game like that and get up to speed very quickly. But what I will say most of all is I'm so happy that he isn't injured, because I was fully sure after the Bournemouth game we were going to be without Curtis Jones for a few weeks, but great to see him back and available in the squad today. So giving him a score of 7 for his little cameo off the bench. Moving on to Diogo, I was so close to getting another goal, wasn't he? Great bit of work with Elliot on the edge of the box, and the dude is feisty, bright, clever, just he's an assassin, a ninja, whatever it is you want to call him. You're right. And I think he has to start in the final, and I think he has to start against Chelsea and Arsenal in the league as well. So for me, Diogo was really good when he came off the bench, giving him a score of 8 out of 10. Bobby Clark, the biggest compliment I could give Bobby Clark, and you can go back and watch the watch along, when Klopp made the changes and he was bringing him on, I said absolutely right call, right change to bring Canade on as well, put a bit of steel in the middle, I should say, and help us see out the game. And that's the biggest compliment I can give to Bobby Clark, is that I think we all have that trust in him now in these moments that he will not let us down. He might not set the world on fire, but he's a good, solid, steady pro, and he will continue to develop as he gets more game time. So for Bobby Clark, score of 7 out of 10. Ibrahima Kanade, exactly what we needed in those moments. Look, he didn't have all that much to do, but it was the biggest spell of pressure Fulham had in the game in the last 10 minutes as they were chasing it, and Klopp was absolutely spot on to bring Ibu off the bench. So giving him a score of 7 out of 10 for his little cameo, but we are very lucky to have the group of centre-backs that we do, and they just keep getting better and better, particularly the younger ones like Kanade and Kwanzaa, and it's great having Virgil back to his brilliant best. I think you can tell I'm rather happy this evening. And then last but certainly not least, our manager, Mr. Jurgen Norbert Klopp. Today I thought his changes were understandable at the end, but I don't really like the one to bring off McAllister and to bring off Darwin. I felt like that just emboldened Fulham a little bit. Maybe he had a word in his ear from the sports science team, or maybe he felt like McAllister was being kicked around a bit in the middle and wanted to protect him. But other than that, look, what can we say? Klopp makes the changes lately and they've impacted us positively. So for Jurgen, we'll give a score of 8 out of 10. But most importantly, we are in another League Cup final. We do take on our old foes in Chelsea. And I want to know your thoughts on that final as well in the comment section. Drop a like on the video and please do hit that subscribe button. I'm going to go because I've got to do the live fan reaction show. But thank you for watching. Can't wait to see your thoughts. And again, hit the subscribe button if you can. We'll talk to you soon. The Reds have done it. Another final awaits. Bye-bye.